Well, I was driving cross country for the test because, of course, I've got coaching to do with Bobby Fong and Jake Gagne. And along the drive with a little bit of truck troubles, I got a call from Chuck Chiquetto that unfortunately Matty Skoltz had fallen down and banged himself up, so he wouldn't be able to participate in the test. And he asked if there was any chance I might be able to help. So I got the opportunity to jump on a super bike. I was flattered that the Westby team would trust old Goldie to my hand, and been a while since I've ridden a super bike, but fortunately there wasn't a lot of pressure on lap time. I think it was more about feel and experience. The guys had a lot of new things to run through, that they're upgrades for the 2020 season, but it was fun for me to get back on a nice, fun, powerful super bike and do some laps. And it's been a few years since I've been able to do it. I think the last time I had ridden a super bike was at the end of 2017 at a test in December or something. So to get on it and get to spend some laps was fantastic. And mostly I just ran through the basics. We did some basic things ergonomically to try to make me a little more comfortable on the bike, because Matt rides in a fairly unique position on the bike. So we did a few things to try to make me more comfortable, and just mostly ran through to make sure that the bike ran properly, and go through all the things that electronics really have involved with it, which is how well the bike accelerates, engine braking and how that functioned, shifting, traction control, wheelie control, and all the different things. And this system is, I believe, new for this year for these guys, and getting an upgraded system is always difficult. And with a very limited amount of track time, they just more needed data than they needed fast lap times of a bike going around the racetrack, and what problems it may present and what areas they needed to clean up and look at. And so I was lucky to get that call. I really enjoyed being on the motorcycle. And, on a personal note, I only wish I could have been a little bit closer to the top of the list, but it's been a while since I've ridden one of those machines in anger. And so I just kind of took my time and went through all the pieces and tried to make sure that I gave Ed and Herschel and Chuck and John Cornwall really good information that they could make progress with, because at the end of the day, this is about making sure that Matty could be as prepared as possible and the team prepared for him when they show up at the next race. So it wasn't too much about what my settings might be or might want to have, but more about just making sure everything was functioning properly so that he could move forward quickly once he gets on the motorcycle with hopefully what is just a good running motorcycle to start with.
After the session, the first day, you spent a lot of time going over the data. So you didn't just ride the bike around. You definitely got involved in looking at the electronics. Were you talking with Ed and those guys and trying to, manipulate some things with the settings?
Not so much manipulate things, but narrow things down. There were areas that I felt like the bike wasn't quite working properly, and there is the feeling from my side and then what they see in the data, and wanting to make sure that the information that I gave them correlated and made sense, that we could get to the conclusions of what was actually going on with the motorcycle, because there are a lot of different strategies that are involved with the motorcycle, and sometimes you go riding the bike and it's hard to differentiate the difference between torque mapping, traction control, wheelie control, side slip control, and what different things are taking part in the fact that the bike is acting a particular way. So just wanting to make sure that the information was accurate and that I was close by, so that whenever they looked at this and they talked about where it was on racetrack, I could relay to them exactly what I was looking for from the motorcycle and see if we could break down to the nuts and bolts of it, of what was actually happening, so that you could make progress quickly.